Czech hasn't built an expansion along the side, and he's planning on expanding it tier 2. Which is another reason that if you have a map pack, this strategy is so much easier and so much less skill dependent, let's say, because you can so easily tell what your opponent's doing and just build what it takes to counter it. For example, if they're planning on tower rushing you, you already see their tower rush coming long before it's actually coming, so you build barracks in the back of your base and start pumping demolishers before they even get there. All of a sudden, you have a very good chance of winning a game you didn't deserve to win. So Czech gets a nice surround off on the Blade Master and forces him out. Yeah, believe it or not, it is possible to surround the Blade Master. Actually a pretty good idea as well. Now Czech, you'll see that Wisp that just scouted Eric's base. He's going to start, you see it's just kind of chilling right outside his base. If you look at Czech's army, he's going to push. This is an example of if you had a map pack, you might be building an extra tower right now, might be preparing a little bit better for what's about to happen. You definitely go cancel this Ancient of Wonders, which is building right outside of Eric's base, and it's a really good move on Czech's part, I think, to build that there. And you're going to see why. But anyways, Eric is conservative, good for him. He's only got 2 towers. So it is actually possible to push him with an army, that is, because those 2 towers really aren't going to do too much damage, especially not to the Demon Hunter. And even if it does, then you can just notice he has a potion of greater healing, which is obviously a very nice drop. You'll see even with 5 peons repairing, that tower died incredibly quickly. Really not very good defensively, and now he's got some Wyverns. Wyverns are great DPS wise, so like if you can trap, like right there he could have trapped the Demon Hunter base and forced him to use that hog, he didn't. But if they can safely get their shots off, Wyverns are great. As you can see, the archers have the extended range, and that tower is just going to die so quickly, even though it had people repairing it. It just dies very fast. So you see 34 food for Eric, 39 food for Czech. Czech is being aggressive, and really there's not too much. It's a really good idea, by the way, to take out the lounge, because again, that's the Orc's only form of healing with this strategy, especially with the low-level Shadow Hunter. And even if it wasn't high level, he's got a Demon Hunter around, so it's probably not going to have too much mana. So a really wise move and great timing on Czech's part to harass when he is harassing. It would be even better if he was doing this while he was putting up an expansion, because this is a way to ensure that, and I think this is something that Czech really should have done just before he attacked, is if you can expand before this happens, then you pretty much ensure that the expansion is going to go up, and you can protect it with 1 or 2 ancient protectors and an Ancient of War, and then you're really safe. One thing I should mention, all of these Orc Tech Tier 3 strategies versus Elf are all very reliant on the Orc getting an expansion with fortified towers. Yeah, it's true that a bloodlusted Tauren army with demolishers with burning oil are going to take out dots really easily, but without an expansion you are never ever going to get that army. The best you can do really is Tauren Walker, I guess, and even then dots are really going to be superior. At least 1 mine versus 1 mine. So again, the Orc at some point with this strategy wants that tier 2 expansion. I emphasize this as much as I can. He wants the tier 2 expansion, or tier 3 expansion, but he wants an expansion with fortified towers. And the great thing about fortified Orc towers, they are pretty imbalanced, I have to say, at least for yourself. Once they're up, there's pretty much nothing you can do as Elf to take them out. I mean, yeah, you could build mass bears, and then, rejuvenate your Demon Hunter and rejuvenate your bears and attack like that. But then you're countering the towers and not the army, and the Orc can have, mass bats attacking your base, or a massive Vern army attacking your bears. So it's really hard, once the towers go up, it's really, really hard for Elf to take out the expansion. And really, your best bet as Elf is just to play the I'm going to out-expand you game, or I'm going to choke out your, maybe you're allowed 1 expansion, but that's it, 1 expansion, I'm going to have 2 expansions. Because once Orc gets that expansion up, the cool thing about it is you can have, you can stay at 50 food, really, and banks. Bats are really cheap and really low food, so you can have a sizable bat army attacking his base or attacking his expansion, and constantly forcing him to play defensively, while you're massing up whatever army you want, or banking gold until you can get, Master Tauren, or Master Doctor, or Master Blade, Master Shaman, Mass Tauren army I was talking about earlier. So yeah, I think Check, while his initial push was definitely successful, it's been delayed a little bit too long. And while he's been attacking, I don't know if you guys noticed that, I should have mentioned this. Eric had been sending 1 or 2 raiders into his base just to do pillage damage. Really good move on Eric's part, by the way. And it's something you can do all along tier 1, tier 2 really. In a standard game is while you're harassing or scouting with your Blade Master, send a raider or 2 with him. You can send them to the base to take out a Moonwell. They don't really creep very well, so while you're creeping up your Torn Chieftain, you don't really need the raiders. And because they don't have Ensnare and they don't have slow, and they won't have, for example, Cyclone for a while, then it's a really easy thing to do. It's a really easy thing for you as the Orc player to do, to harass with the raiders and not lose any. And the fact that they do pillage damage really helps you out, obviously, because you can kill with 1 or 2 wells or force the elf to port back to his base to save them earlier than they would want to. So anyways, as I was saying, definitely at some point you're going to see a tier 2 or tier 3 expansion involving fortified towers. And now, while he was harassing with a raider or 2 raiders and the Shadow Hunter, his Blade Master was off expanding, got a Claws +9, obviously a very good drop. And he's going to put up an expansion, or at least going to put up the towers to protect the expansion. Because truthfully, once the towers go up, it's very hard for the elf to kill them, and really easy for you to keep that expansion alive for the rest of the game. So okay, towers are going up. What's Eric's game plan now? Like I said, he doesn't have a map pack. Again, it's kind of odd for me to watch strategies like this and replays like this when I know the Orc player isn't hacking. So because you're not hacking and you don't know what the elf's doing, you need that expansion to go up. You do the next logical thing, which is to attack or harass and force the elf player to stay on his side of the map while the towers go up. So Check, being Check and really intelligent, he knows the tower's going up because he scouts. Check doesn't hack either, but he has to choose right now. Like, can he get to those towers in time? Truthfully not, they're already going to be up. And even if he does get to them in time, the Blade Master is going to be delaying his expansion from going up, which he definitely doesn't want to have happen. So he's sending his heroes to the towers to see if he can cancel those. I guess he didn't realize when he looked at the Hawk that they were already pretty much up. The towers are up, and that level 2 Demon Hunter not going to be able to do anything. He laments that fact and runs away. Too bad. He does have the orb, which makes going Verns for the rest of the game very difficult to do. I personally think Eric probably could have killed a hero here, possibly, or at least forced. No, he could have forced a fort. With Hex and with Ensnare and the focus fire from the Wyverns. Plus, I think he's got the Blade Master staff to tell the cooldown up. But anyways, so just that one Blade Master is causing a lot of havoc for Check. He's already cancelled the Entangling of Mine a few times. Now he starts attacking it again. He probably would. He might get a cancel this time. But Check doesn't want that to happen, so he sends his Demon Hunter into Mana Burn. Again, Check's having to struggle for his expansion. He can't really defend it because Ancient Protectors suck. And I think he should build, and he will eventually build 1 or 2, because they do help versus bats and versus Wyvern harassments. But they're terrible versus raiders, and then just in general as towers, they're not very good. So Check hasn't built too many towers too. That's something I want to point out. He's done this strategy: skip tier 1, skip grunts, and he's only used 5 towers the whole game, which is your average orc versus, human versus undead, or even human versus orc, or human versus elf game probably involves more than 5 towers. So you shouldn't feel too bad doing this strategy, or breaking it out every once and again. And one of the things that I love most about strategies like this is it really forces the elf player to adapt to what you're doing. I think too often elf players are